My name is Nancy Kolomani, evangelist. I am a mother, a wife. I am also a mentor mother. I'm a pastor.
I'm being called Kelvin Barasa, being born HIV positive, or you can call me Kevo Msanii or HIV, niko sawa.
My name is Francis Moreithi Ndegwa. I'm a MVP champion Kirinyaga County and the whole of the country.
Naitwa Isaac Lonse. I am a retired teacher for 10 years ago. Na nimeishi na virusi vya HIV for 22 years.
GBV, wow, it begins back then when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old. I'm a victim of rape from an uncle, several uncles by the way. And then towards high school, I was also raped again by strangers. And towards marriage again, I've been into different kind of marriages, and all of them were just, I just survived being dead.
Mimi nilizaliwa HIV positive, home county ni Busia, na nilizaliwa positive after my mom kuzaa mimi akiwa form 3, whereby alipata ball akiwa form 3. Ndio wakajua ako positive, pia mimi nikapimwa nikapatikana niko positive nikiwa mdogo.
I was infected in mother child, but the parent by then didn't know their status, so all of them, they did not take charge to go and get tested, and that's the way I turned positive.
For my uncles, you see, I was a small kid. 8 years old is a baby actually. So they were supposed to take care of us. My dad used to be so busy with work, and then my mom was at the village. And so we were being taken care of by relatives. And so the relatives that my parents used to trust with us are the ones who took advantage of me. So as a child, I never shared it with anyone because obviously of the threats that come. And then I was also afraid because they were so close. They were very close relatives. So I was scared, what if my parents don't believe me? What will happen to me? Or what if he decides to tell them what he told me he will tell them? What would happen to me? So I kept it a secret.
I was a smoker. I drank like a sponge. And as I said, I used to go to prostitutes. I don't hide. And I knew. And even I knew. Even when I was tested, I knew that I cannot miss that one.
So all along, my mom akaniacha na shosh, akarudi shule, akamaliza form 4, akarudi back to Nairobi, akaniacha na shosh huko Ushago. So after kuniacha na shosh, ikawa sasa napewa dawa na my grandmom. But nilikuwa napewa dawa na siambiwi ni za nini, naambiwa ni za kifua. So nikameza dawa, ikafika around 10 years, nikawa nataka kujua hii chest yenye nimekuwa nikiambiwa kwani haiponi. Mimi nikauliza grandmom, nikauliza mom, wakaniambia itapona tu. Mimi nikaboeka, nikamwambia wacha niachane nazo nione ni nini itafanyika. So mimi nikaacha dawa for 5 good years. Hiyo kuacha dawa 5 good years, nikaanza kukua msick. As you can see, niko na alama kwa uso, whereby nilianza kutoka vidonda.
Okay, afterwards, after I've tested positive, both my parents passed, and I was left behind and raised by my grandmother and my grandfather. So my grandparents encouraged me day in, day out to be more consistent on medications, which I was just administered to.
And when I was in primary school, in class 6, Actually, there's a day I purposed to tell my teacher, my class teacher, but now when I went to school that day, she stands at the parade and she's like, we've heard that girls in this school are the ones sleeping with makangas. If we ever find out that you're the one who's been sleeping around with men, my friend will parade you in front of all the students and we will beat you. And here I am, thinking of how I'm going to tell my teacher what was happening to me. So I changed my mind and I never mentioned that to anyone else again. So when I went back home, I was tired and I told myself, now because I'm tired and there's no one I'm going to talk to, I'm gonna kill myself. So I attempted suicide and luckily I survived.
So vile mama alikuja pale hospitali nikiwa nimelazwa, akanieleza, nikafanywa counseling, kaambiwa hizi dawa sasa ni za HIV. Nilishtuka na nikaanza kumlaumu. Nikamuuliza tu hapo, mbona hukuniambia ni za HIV? So my mama alikuwa ananiambia yeye aliogopa ataanza aje. Aliogopa bila ataanza kufanya hiyo disclosure.
In 2002 is when I got the depression. Little did I know that I was HIV positive. I almost went mad.
I was 5 weeks pregnant and I decided to go and attend my antenatal clinics early. So I went to the hospital and I was not having any kind of symptoms, by the way. I was not having any symptoms of any illness. So I went to the hospital like any other pregnant woman to begin my antenatal clinics, and they tested me for everything that they test pregnant women. And when the results came, the doctor told me that I was positive for HIV. I was in shock. I did not expect that. I thought she had mixed up my results with someone else. I expected her to apologize and tell me that the results were not mine, but she was not saying that. So I looked at her, waiting for her to like say something else, and she was looking at me, waiting for me obviously to react, and I reacted. I cried, and I cried very well. It's only that I was in a hospital. I would have cried in my mother tongue.
Okay, mimi nikiwa primary sikuwa na friends because ya vile ya hiyo condition yangu, walikuwa najua I'm positive. So ulikuwa unapata wanaogopa kukaa pamoja na mimi nitawaambukiza HIV. Ikifika pia wakati wa kukula pia unapata tu mimi naendea chakula yangu, nakaa tu mahali peke yangu nakula because hao wengine still wako na uoga. So sikuwa na friends, stigma ilikuwa all over in the school.
Back in high school, my peers in the institution I was in, luckily I schooled in a day school, but I had managed marks to score to go to the national school, but I did not manage. So my peers wondered each and every 3 months, why am I not in class in these specific days? So, and I am that person who's always familiar with everyone in the place where I'm treated. So the peers just started following up, and they came across on what I was in. It wasn't so easy to accept it, but as you know, peers will pressure you up and tell you to stop on doing so.
I have lived with the virus for 22 years. And funny enough, since that time when I was admitted in his hospital, having that herpes, I've never been hospitalized. I have kept I have adhered to my medicine very well. I have tried to avoid the stigma. I have fought for the stigma, and therefore this has helped me to live positively.
I thought at the back of my mind, I was very sure that it was my husband that had infected me with the virus, because I was now married 2 years, obviously I was coming from other marriages also. But now in this marriage that was looking like it was working, We were 2 years old. And now this was our first child together. And now here comes HIV. There were so many things that were happening that I was not understanding. So to me, I knew, like, I was 100% sure my husband had infected me with the virus. But now when he went and got tested and it turned negative, that is when I realized things were not as they were. So I was like, okay, now, how did I get infected? I thank God my husband didn't like question me so much about that, because when we were getting involved, I had mentioned to him, I told him how my past was, I told him how my past marriages were. So I felt he kind of knew where, or he suspected how I could have gotten infected.
I remember kuna kampuni nilienda kutafuta job after kuanza shule hiyo 2018, na nilipofika pale, because of my skin, the HR ama mwenye alikuwa anachukuana pale kwa gate akaniambia, hapa hatuwezi chukua mtu mwenye na hii ngozi kama hii yako, tunataka watu wako sawa. So nilitoka pale kwa gate, okay, hakujua I'm positive, but kulingana vile ngozi ilikuwa nikanyimwa job. So nikatoka pale kwa gate nikiwa na hasira sana, nikiwa na laumu my mom. Mimi nikaenda nikamwambia nimenyimwa job, na nimenyimwa because of you. Ungeniambia niko positive, ningemeza dawa vizuri na singekuwa na hii shida skin the way I am. So nikaenda nikiwa nalia sana. My mama akaniambia usijali, kazi zingine zitatokea. Up to date hiyo kampuni kiiona hata sitakai kukanyaga hapo, because ilikuwa my first job, nilikuwa nimemaliza form 4 na nikanyimwa kazi.
My biggest worry as a mother living with HIV was infecting my baby. I wanted to know if there was anything that I could do to protect my baby from being infected. I think that was my biggest worry.
Wakati nilipatikana na HIV ni kwa sababu one of my characters is that I am very empathic, and therefore my problem, my worry was how to break the silence to my wife.
So in 2019 ndio kuna support group ya adolescent and young people wenye wanakuanga positive. We normally have support group inaitwa TZ, whereby kwa facility level kwa hospitali tunaendanga tukifunga shule. So hiyo 2019 tulikuwa tunashare our stories, whereby mmoja anaweza share aseme amepitia nini, stigma pale shule, challenges ni gani. So tukiwa pale, one of us akashare story yake, akasema yeye na sister yake wako positive, but the mama yao alikufanga wakiwa wadogo. So baba yao akaoa bibi mwingine. So vile alioa bibi mwingine, huyo baba amekuwa akiambia huyu kijana, mimi hata sijui ugonjwa ulitoa wapi. Mimi siku moja nitakuwekea sumu nikuue utoka hata una maana. So hiyo kitu ikanitouch, nikasema kama the real father anaweza taka kuua mtoto wake because yako positive, so mimi mbona nisitoke public niwaambie HIV is just a condition, not a disease, ndio wajue hii kitu si ya kutenga mtu ama kuua mtoto wako because ako positive.
With my husband, but then I thank God for my husband, he's never looked at me as if I'm going to infect him. Even if we had our own little fights or big fights, he would of course sometimes insult me with the virus, but when he wants it, he doesn't think about it. We just smash, we just do it, like, yeah. And you know what we did? When he tested negative and I was positive, we went for counseling, and the doctors told him that he was supposed to use PrEP or protection until I was suppressed. But he refused, and he said we were going to abstain from sex until I'm undetectable. So we abstained from sex until I was undetectable. And since I was undetectable, it took me about 3 months to be undetectable. That time because I was pregnant. Until now, I've always been undetectable, and we've never used any protection. My husband has never used any PrEP, and he's still negative.
Okay, hapo kwa relationship kumekuwa na ups and down, whereby one, maybe umepata mse. Mimi am public, sikosai kuongelelea about HIV, hata siku iwezi isha. Because nitakukatia, umenipea namba, profile yangu peke yake itakuambia tu wewe ako na HIV. Utaweka tu hiyo namba kama ni WhatsApp, naona imeandikwa am HIV positive. So kumekuwa na challenge, I think ni one lady nishaipata na nikamwambia, nilikuwa nimeogopa by the way, nikamwambia before anything mimi niko positive. Utakubali? The lady alikuwa amenipenda, but sasa after kusikia story ya positive akashtuka. Akasema yeye haezi kubali, maybe chenye anaweza fanya akuwe tu na mimi as a friend. Na ile time nitataka kuoa ama nikitaka dem mwingine, niko huru ya kutafuta dem mwingine. So nikaona hapo ni waste of the time, nikajitoa.
It did not take me long because I knew living without knowing that I was HIV, it was a big problem. I knew the repercussions, I knew the consequences because I had gone for a training of counseling. Therefore, I knew how to tackle issues. I knew when I broke the silence to her, it could be a menace. I could now keep the whole night comforting a sobbing wife. That one I was ready to do. And this is what actually happened. But at last, because I knew anger has got no medicine. The medicine for anger is time. With the time, it is subsidized, and then we talked, and then she stabilized for a while. It took time, almost 3 months without meaningful talk with the wife. It is then when after that period elapsed, is when she started now talking to me. And finally, because there was no alternative, she accepted.
Yeah, we still have people who can judge and who judge me. And even worse, I'm a pastor, so they are like, how did you even get infected and your husband is not infected? It means you've been sleeping around with the, with the congregants or something. So I get those a lot, but I think I've really developed a hard skin since all the things that happened in the past. So yeah, it doesn't get to me.
Kitu ya kwanza, young people tunapenda kupima na macho. Kitu ya pili, tutapimwa leo, maybe iko window period. After kupatikana iko negative, unaenda unajisahau. Unasema, si mimi nilipimwa. Na pia naweza advise men hawataki kwenda hospitali. Na that's why this year mnaona tunataka kuinvolve kwa men kwa World Day, because wanaume kitamba toke tu aende hospitali apimwe ni ngumu. Hata namba inasema ladies ndio wengi kwa HIV rate, but men hawaendi hospitali. So naweza encourage men, at least hata kama uko na shida gani, hata kama ulilala na mpo wako jana na maybe hiyo condom ikabat, usikae tu, amka kesho enda upimwe the way ladies wanafanya.
Okay, let me start with the positive young people. I would advise stick on your medication. Avoid drug holiday. Be safe always. And when I mean be safe, let's encourage use of condoms. Because young people in our country don't encourage condom. And that's why in our country, we got high infection of HIV at the moment. And to the negative people, let's not stigmatize the positive people.
Make sure that you're really working hard towards disclosing your status to your partner before they find out by themselves. Because if your partner finds out about your status by themselves, trust me, that marriage is no more. Whatever thing you've been working so hard to protect, you will lose it at the end of it, because they will think that you have been keeping this as a secret because you have an intention to infect them. So the sooner you find someone who can guide you on how you can do disclosure to your partner, the better for you.
Also, the negative people, let's get tested. Let's keep safe. Don't ignore, because ignorance, that's what kills us. Thank you.
My name is Rosalyn Wamboi Kemondo. I'm a clinical officer practicing at Kirinyaga County. Kirinyaga is sub-county where I coordinate TB and HIV services. In the county, I'm also the AYP, that is adolescents and young people living with HIV focal person, where we work with the young people who are already infected with HIV to encourage them to take their medication, to encourage them to have a positive living and prevent others from contracting HIV in the country and in the county at large. Transmission of HIV. We know there are so many ways, but people think transmission of HIV is only sexual, and especially through vaginal sex. But transmission of HIV is any form of sex, either anal sex, and that is the most risky. The anal sex is the most risky when it comes to HIV transmission. Then vaginal sex, then oral sex, because you find most people think that you cannot get HIV through oral sex. Oral sex transmits HIV. Other myths about HIV, HIV can be transmitted from a mother to a child. If you get HIV, either when you're pregnant, either during birth, or during breastfeeding. So your child can be infected when she's in the uterus, when you're giving birth, and also when you're breastfeeding. And that is why for mothers who are breastfeeding, you can test negative when you're giving birth. But if you contract HIV when you're breastfeeding, your child can still get infected. Other forms of transmission is when you use sharp objects. And that is why wherever there is a sharp object that is being used, including when you're doing your nails, make sure though before you use it on someone else, you have disinfected whatever you are using. Those people who inject drugs all use the same needles. You're injecting yourself and someone else is using the same needle. You can get infection, HIV infection from such. For those people who are getting blood that is not well screened, you get there people who have rituals, their exchange of blood. The cult, people who are joining cult and they're exchanging blood. You cut yourself and someone else cuts themselves through those rituals that people do, and there's exchange of blood. You can also get transmission from such issues. So we normally say everywhere you're coming into contact with body fluids like semen, blood, or vaginal fluids, you can get infected through all those means. Yes. So the moment someone gets infected with HIV, HIV is a virus. It's called a human immunodeficiency virus. So it's from, H means from one person to another human, and human is the host for HIV virus. Then immunodeficiency means it makes your immunity go down, really down. It fights your immunity, and then it is a virus. So that is the virus itself. The moment this virus gets into your body, what happens? Your immunity starts getting low. It attacks your immune cells. There are so many cells that fight for your body not to get infections. So it goes and starts killing those cells that fight infections in your body. So the moment you get the virus, you now if you're not treated early, if you're not tested early, you get now AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndromes. So a syndrome means there are so many collections of things. There are so many things that have been collected together. So what happens for you to get to AIDS? Because AIDS is what kills you. It's not the virus. There are so many people who are living with the virus, but they are not dead because they have not gotten to a place of AIDS. Now the syndromes that come when your immunity goes down. When your immunity goes down, you get an infection, it multiplies. We call them opportunistic infections. They are infections that come when your body cannot fight. I always give an example of your home being attacked when you're not there. So what happens? Your body is start getting other infections. You get tuberculosis, you get infections of diarrhea, you get meningitis, you get other infections that are coming in because there is nothing to attack them. So we call them opportunistic infections, and that is what we call AIDS. And that is what kills people. It is not the virus. We can live for a very long time with the virus. But when AIDS comes in, it's what kills people who are not taking medication. That is why we introduce you to ARV. The ARV, they help your immunity to respond. The moment your immunity starts responding, it will fight these opportunistic infections that comes to destroy your body and make your body weak, and you'll not get them and they'll not kill you. You'll live a longer life with antiretroviral drugs. So when we talk about the growth and the changes that has occurred in HIV world, there's a lot of research that has been going on inside the country and outside the country. And we have seen tremendous changes. When long time ago, we never used to have drugs for everyone. And then it transformed. We had drugs for everyone, and they are free. Then from there, we never had mother-to-child prevention, and mothers never used to breastfeed their children. Right now, you can breastfeed your child and the child gets negative. You get a negative baby even when you are HIV positive, because there have been changes when it comes to prevention. And also when we are talking about prevention on the changes that has occurred, there are so many things that has taken place. We have drugs that are preventing people who are at risk of contracting HIV. We have drugs that someone can take even when they are planning for maybe you're going for a date and you don't want to use a condom, as much as we're encouraging people to use a condom, and you're having a person that you don't know their HIV status, or you know their HIV status which is negative, and that is especially for men. That is called an event-driven PrEP, where you take when you have planned. And there are also prevention methods that we can give for other people who are at risk. We call them PrEP. There are preventions that we can give for people who are at risk, like someone who has been raped. They are called PEP. We are also developing, and it is coming to this country, where you can get a prevention, where you take a 6-monthly injection. You get injected, and because either you have a partner who is positive, or your behavior is not, you're doubting your behaviors, you're getting engaged sexually with someone that you don't know or people you don't know, you can get that injection that lasts for 6 months. And I know many people will ask, what about the moral implication of these prevention methods? With the development, we encouraging behavioral change. When we talk about prevention, we talk about behavior change, we talk about structure change, and we talk about drugs. And we talk about drugs, we want to talk about behavior change. But if you're not ready, like we have our young generation, that by the time they are changing, they have to make an obsolete decision to change. Before they get to a point that you have changed your behavior, we want to protect you from contracting infection of HIV, because we want to cut short the cycle of prevention and prevent our country from getting new cases. And when we apply prevention, we are going to reduce the rate of transmission for people who are not ready to change, or people who are at very risky environments of contracting HIV. Yes, we have also changed a lot when it comes to those people who are already infected. A long time ago, they used to have so many drugs, taking like 6 tablets a day. Right now, you take only 1 tablet and you're good to go if you're adherent to your medication. So a lot has changed even when it comes to technology. There are so many applications, apps in our phones that you can also install your phone to help you. When you're positive, to live a positive life, you're interacting with people there. If you feel you have difficulty in adhering your treatment, for young people, we have something we call VDOTs, where you have an application. We normally take a video and we call you, or you engage in the application. When you're taking medication, you have people encouraging you to take your medication so that you can adhere to medication. Right now, we are going digital in most of our facilities in our country, such that the management of our patients, it is no longer paperwork. We are gone digital. We have so many systems that we are using to see our patients. So we are able to track patients everywhere in this country, that wherever you go, your healthcare worker can track you because we have gone digital when it comes to HIV management. As we celebrate the World HIV Day today, the 1st December, it's something that we celebrate. We are not celebrating the infection. It's a time that we take to remind the community, to remind our people that HIV is still here with us. We have not come to elimination of HIV, and we are still having new infections in our country. And we would like to advise everyone, if you've not been tested, get tested. If you're positive, live positively. If you're negative, you live negatively. And if possible, for the young people, those who are fearing battery-low, pregnancy, and other things, and they are not fearing anything, we say HIV. It is good, I advise the young people, live negatively, take precaution. If you can't change your behavior, take condoms. Use condoms because condoms is known to 99% protection against HIV, and not only HIV, even other sexual transmitted infection. The moment you have sexual transmitted infection, even getting HIV is very easy. So let's take charge as a country, as an individual. For those who have not been tested, get tested. For those who are in marriage, be faithful, use condom for those who can use condom, and also we shall reach where we want to be as a country. My parting shot, I want to encourage all men in our country, because we have realized in our practice, most men don't come to our facilities for testing. If you can look at the data that we have so many women getting HIV, but men are getting HIV, but they're not coming for testing. And we have even men who are in marriages, but they use their wives' result. If the wife is tested negative, they are also negative. They forget there's something we call discordant couples, people who are, you're already positive, but your partner is negative. So you find many men, they are coming to our facilities. When they are coming to the health center and we are realizing they are HIV positive, their body are already too weak, and we are losing so many men to HIV because they don't come early for testing. The earlier you come for testing, the earlier we get to hold you to make sure that your health is back. So I'm encouraging every man outside there, go and get tested. And when you get tested, live negatively when you're negative. If you're positive, live positively. Let's cut cycle of transmission by negative living and positive living so that we can change the world and change our country in HIV world.